Welcome to Waltron. This video will show how to replace a mixing pump on a 3040 series analyzer. You will need a new mixing pump, part number W34013A, Hex Drive, 2.5mm, Torx T6 Drive, safety glasses, and gloves. It is recommended to wear safety glasses and gloves when performing this task, as some of the reagents used in the 3040 series analyzers are hazardous.
The analyzer should be in standby mode when performing the reagent pump replacement. To put the analyzer in standby mode, press the run button, followed by emergency stop. This will trigger the general fault alarm. To clear the fault alarm, press the run button followed by reset. The analyzer is now in standby mode.
Now, we can shift to the wet section plate inside the analyzer enclosure. It is necessary to partially remove the left wet section panel in order to gain access to the mixing pump, which is located in the flow cell block. Empty the liquid in the flow cell by pushing the drain pinch valve in for a few seconds or by using the HMI to manually activate a drain command for 5 seconds. Use the 2.5mm hex drive to loosen, remove, and set aside the 6 screws holding the wet section panel in place. Remove the flow cell cap from the flow cell, disconnect the drain overflow tubing from the flow cell cap and partially push through the side of the enclosure to move it out of the way. Place the reagent cap off to the right to keep it out of the way. Disconnect the sample pump tubing from the T-fitting in the mixing pump inlet and outlet tubing from the front of the flow cell block. Use the T6 drive to loosen and remove the 2 screws on the front of the flow cell block that hold the mixing pump in place. Tip the wet section panel forward and slide it to the right to gain access to the rear of the panel. Caution: avoid touching the heater as it will be hot if the analyzer is powered on. Pull the mixing pump out the rear of the flow cell block, along with the mixing pump cap. Follow the mixing pump wires to the wire harness connector and push the tab to disconnect. The old mixing pump should be free of the analyzer and can be discarded. Take the new mixing pump and use the T6 drive to remove and set aside the front mounting screws. Taking care to keep the mixing pump cap in place, tilt the wet section panel down and clockwise. Slide the mixing pump into place and thread the mounting screws through the flow cell block and into the mixing pump. Use the T6 drive to tighten the mounting screws, securing the mixing pump in place. Make sure that the barbs for the mixing pump inlet and outlet are fully through the flow cell block. Make the connector of the mixing pump to the wire harness connector labeled MP. Tilt the wet section plate and slide back into place, taking care to avoid pinching the wires. Thread the 6 screws through the wet section plate and into the enclosure. Tighten with the 2.5mm hex drive to secure the wet section plate. Reconnect the tubing to the inlet and outlet of the new mixing pump. Reconnect the sample pump tubing to the T-fitting. Reconnect the overflow tubing to the flow cell cap and reinstall the flow cell cap into the top of the flow cell. Verify that the new pump is working correctly by going to the main screen and pressing the display button, finding sample number 1 in the drop-down menu, setting the time to 15 seconds, and pressing on to fill the flow cell. Then return to the manual commands list, find mix, set the time to 30 seconds, and press on. Check the wet section to verify that the mixing pump is functioning properly. The mixing pump should be pulling sample from the bottom of the flow cell and injecting it back into the top of the flow cell. Put the analyzer back into online mode by pressing run and then start online. For questions or additional support, please get in touch with us at support@waltron.net.